Good morning, dear YouTube friends. Thank you so much for coming by. Today we are talking creamy, garlicky butternut squash soup. Coming at you from South Salt Lake City today. I'm at my mom and Dan's house today. My bonus dad, Dan, passed away last week, and I've just been trying really hard to figure out ways to honor him. And I thought, the next video I make is going to be with items from their garden, and it's going to have a ton of garlic in it because Dan and I shared a love for copious amounts of garlic. So we've got some butternut squash from their garden and some heirloom carrots from their garden, and we're going to make the best butternut squash soup. So keep on watching to see how we make it. So here's our beautiful squash that we picked from the garden that's nice and ripe and ready to go. I'm just going to peel it with a vegetable peeler here. Look how pretty that color is. Then I'm going to slice it in half and scoop out those seeds. Let me know, do you guys use butternut squash seeds? I've never actually cooked with them. I feel like you could. I'm also going to dice up a large white onion. We're going to toss these on a pan after I've diced up the squash. I'm trying to keep everything about the same size. We're going to roast everything up so we get a nice char on everything before we simmer it in our broth. So we're going to get some really, really great depth of flavor. I'm also using an entire head of garlic, not for the faint of heart here. You can of course use a little less, but this is for Dan and we loved our garlic. So whole head of garlic. Also about a cup of carrots that I've diced up about the same size as the butternut squash. I'm spraying everything with a little bit of olive oil, probably about a teaspoon. I'm going to coat it and toss everything. I'm also adding about a teaspoon of fresh thyme, some salt, and then one of my favorite seasonings that I actually only use at my mom and Dan's house. I need to buy myself some. It's garlic pepper, and I believe it's by McCormick. I'm going to show you in a second here. Yes. It is so good. You should invest in this seasoning. So I've got everything coated. We're in a 400-degree oven. I'm going to roast it for about a half hour. While that's roasting, we're going to get our broth going to simmer our soup once that's done cooking in the oven. I'm pouring in 4 cups of water, and for now, just 1 cube of vegetable bouillon. We can always add more. Probably will add more. I just don't want it to get too salty. I'm adding a sprig of fresh thyme as well. So we're seasoning along the way, getting flavor into every aspect of this soup. Just kind of mushing that around while we let it just simmer while our vegetables are cooking away in the oven. It's been about a half an hour and our vegetables are pretty tender and they're getting a little bit of a char on them, which is exactly what we want. You just want to make sure your onion and garlic isn't getting too brown. We don't want any burnt flavor. So I'm just going to pull that little guy off that's a little dark, and that little garlic clove that got a little dark as well, and we are looking wonderful. Just going to add this to our simmering broth now, and we're going to finish everything up in this pot. And I'm just going to let it simmer until our vegetables start to kind of fall apart. So it's about 15 or so minutes. It's pretty quick. What I love about the extra step of roasting our vegetables, especially the garlic, is it sweetens up that garlic a little bit. And it really does make a difference when you have a little bit of that char going on in flavor. So I highly, highly recommend doing that step. Now I'm just giving our broth a test here to see what it tastes like. I believe I am going to add another vegetable bouillon cube just to get a good amount of a pop of that bouillon flavor as well. Taste along the way. If you need to season to your liking, by all means do so. Now that everything's falling apart a little bit like so, I am going to pull out those sprigs of thyme. Look at that gorgeous clove of garlic. Oh my gosh, yum. Carrots are tender, just making sure everything's nice and soft here. Now that I know it is and the flavor is good with the broth, I'm just going to pop out those really hot thyme sprigs. Be careful. Use a fork. And we'll be ready to blend it up. So my mom and Dan have this little ninja bullet that actually it blends really amazingly. I was really surprised because I'm so in love with my Vitamix. This is a really great little blender. So I'm just going to do this in batches because there's obviously more soup than there is blender space, but that is okay. Gonna get that full up and whiz it up, and then I'll just pour it into another pot once I've got it blended until everything's all nice and creamy. Then we're just gonna get this lid on here and blend it on up like so. I may have to invest in one of these little bullets. These are pretty amazing. Blends up super simply. There's Ozzy just taking a little nap in the sunshine as well. And there you have it. This color is just so beautiful. What a wonderful way to use up squash in the garden. It's pretty amazing the creaminess you can get from roasting and simmering vegetables. There's only just a little bit of olive oil in this, but aside from that, all veggies, super creamy and delicious. And that color is just, that screams fall to me. So we're just going to ladle some in a bowl. I'm going to add a bit of fresh thyme, and I've also roasted up a little bit of garlic clove just to add an extra little oomph and some prettiness to it. And because I just can't help myself, I'm going to add a little bit more of that garlic pepper for a little added punch at the end. So yummy. And there you have it, creamy, garlicky butternut squash soup. For you, Dan, the best bonus dad I could have ever asked for. I love you so. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope that you're staying safe and healthy, and I really can't wait to talk to you soon. Cheers.